So I'm going to put these fingers together. We're just gonna grab two opposites. So I put my little dots on there to indicate the mirrored ones, and those will be matched. I'm going to pin them together with the fur tucked in, and then I'll be sewing all the way around the curved edge, leaving the straight edge because that'll get put into the thumb hole on this pattern. This is really kind of tough because of how the nap is going. It wants to stick up, and I'm having to tuck all of it in. The queen of overpinning, or clipping, or both. There it is. So we're going all the way around here. The thumbs are dunsies. So this edge, this is the longest edge here. So that gets aligned to the bottom, which I would call this the bottom of the thumb hole. It'll go like this. To me, it would make more sense if we flip this inside out and then I push it through. So then I can align it. I think that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see if I can get this flipped. Let me dig out some of the fur first. And then I'm gonna slowly start, oh, that actually helped a lot. Slowly start flipping it. That was a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. All right, we have a thumb. Now my only problem is it's hard to see what side is longer, but I think it's this one. Like a little troll thumb. Yeah, that's the longer. I should have marked it before I flipped it. This is the longer edge, okay. I'm gonna stick this through. I think I need to pin at this step because it's such a little hole. All right, so I'm gonna sew that one and then I will do the same thing with the other arm. One thumb is done. Second thumb is done. The next step is to take the front body piece and I'm gonna be stitching the arms with the thumbs attached to it. So these are the front arms and the front of the body, and we're gonna sew a straight line here and a straight line here, do another whip stitch, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with the back arms and the back body, and then that all gets put together. The fur nap is running opposite directions from the arm to the body, so that's going this way and that's going up, which for a second I'm like, holy cow, I put this together backwards. But I double checked the paper and it's definitely lined up, you can see. But the main thing is actually on here, you can see that the fur for the body goes down and the arm goes up. And I think it's because when you are Muppeting it, the arm is gonna be forward, right? And you want that finger hair to go that way. So this is actually correct because you're not gonna have it laying flat like this. The arm's dangling around and it'll be curved right at that spot. So I think it's gonna work out and then it makes it look good in the back and it makes the fingers look nice and fluffed up. So I think I'm in the clear. Back is done, front is done, and now I'm going to be sewing the front and the back together. So we're going to lay these out right sides together and then we will sew along from the top of the shoulder here, all around the fingies and down to here on both sides. So because I had already turned the thumb out, right side out, it's not gonna lay flat. So I'm actually gonna push it back through right now so that it won't interfere with anything. Actually, I can do a halfway, a halfway push, just so it's flush on that side. All right, I'm gonna have to put my clips all the way on the edge, otherwise I can't fit the fur inside. I've got to start thinking about her name. Does anyone else put this many clips on their fabric, or is it just me? It just makes me feel so safe. I think I'm feeling pretty good about this. Just one more clip for good luck. So I set my sewing needle down somewhere earlier and can't find it. So that's a nightmare for later. Stitching is mostly complete. I have stitched both arms together and then stitched both arms onto the torso. This was all done with whip stitch, and I can turn this around so you can see a little bit better. I did a kind of medium tightness whip stitch for most of the straight areas on these seams. And then once I got to the fingers, I made sure the whip stitch was pretty tight. There's a lot more tension on those seams, so I wanted to make sure it holds up, particularly when you get to the in-between areas of the fingers. I noticed pretty quickly if it wasn't a tight stitch, you would see little holes in there. I can stick my hand through, which is super exciting. I will say that my hand fits perfectly in here. It's not really a huge amount of space, so if you have a larger hand, you may want to give yourself a little more space in there by cutting the pattern larger. I did a really tight seam allowance, so even with that, it's a pretty tight fit, but for me, it's comfortable. Comfortable enough to be in there. So I've right now got my pinky and my, what is that finger? Is that my ring finger? And my ring finger and this finger. And then I got my middle finger here, pointer finger here, and then the thumb and the thumb. So the body is ready to go. I just have to stitch the neck to the head once the head's done. So that is ready to go.